All right, and we are live. All right. So how you doing, man?
Doing good. Yeah.
Any SEO discoveries this week?
Not discoveries, but yeah, I was just thinking about I'm building a sitemap for this website and just testing it. Seems like an HTML sitemap. Seems like every time I build an HTML sitemap, the rankings boost a little bit, not a lot. Sometimes they had a couple of times they've boosted a lot, but
yeah,
really does help.
I think it does help. I think it's good to at least have it, and depending on the website, it might give it a boost.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Especially if the website, especially if Google's crawling a website and Google's for some reason having some issues communicating, understanding, what kind of content this is as a product or as a service, what kind of product, how many different services do you offer under this specific company, how many different products do you offer, and things like that. And so I think that before you start getting into schema and rich snippets and all that jazz, I think that a sitemap is obviously like one of the first things that you would do to communicate with Google.
Yeah, I think that's true. Having it's awesome. Like I was listening to Bruce Clay. I sent you that video. I don't know if you saw it, or he's talking about how schema makes things less ambiguous. There's just like multiple meanings to a website that it could be. If it's not very clear, you don't even need schema, I guess. Well, yeah, I guess you need schema because of the structured data, because of the what's viewed in the SERPs.
Sure.
So it's still important, but it straightens out that ambiguity.
Yeah.
That sitemaps do too. So especially if you structure it right. A lot of people, they just get these WordPress generated sitemaps and they just go crazy with tons of links on, and there's no headers separating them. There's no organization. It's just all like a cluster.
Yeah, I think you were cutting out there, Matt.
Oh. Yeah, it's just a cluster of links on one page.
Mm-hmm.
So here, let me exit out of some of these things. Probably why.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, just having that is really I want to see if this will really. It's a dentist. One of our clients that's a dentist. So some of she's ranking 1 on some terms, and then other terms she's like 4th on the 4th page.
The lady dentist client that's here in town.
Yeah, so I'm like, what? Why is this happening? But I mean, her site's pretty thin. So, but yeah, I was thinking maybe it is that ambiguity. I mean, she has schema, she has everything. Everything's all set. There's no errors on her site. She's getting traffic though. I mean, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
But
true.
I like to see some more terms boost up.
Well, that, and I think one of the biggest things that dentists should be doing is kind of going through every single service that they do, and kind of, I mean, you could build a fully fleshed out content marketing strategy based on, okay, is it 7 services that we do? What is it are we doing? Are we filling in cavities? If so, what kind of fillings are we using? And are we doing, dentures? If so, what kind of products do we use? Are we doing, and on and on and on to the point where just in one specific service, you could fully flesh that out with supportive pages. And then if it's a product that they use, and then even with the product that they could use, they could be answering questions based on, just doing specific like content query research. It's when I really think about like content marketing, and I think about services and service as a service, I think, man, it's just so easy. It's not easy because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy and money. But when you really, like, if you go and view the video that we pushed out, I think it was a couple months ago, where I did a video on how to write content that's optimized for search, or something like how to write content that Google will love. If you just watch that video, the small little nuggets and the strategies that we were basically painting in that video, I think it was maybe a 40-minute video, can absolutely change the whole the whole map for any business owner. I mean, you can apply that to just about any business too. Like, I mean, just a painter too. Like, you know, the typical strategy for a painting service or a painter is to basically, you know, say, hey, we do painting services. We do, here's some of the houses that we've done. Maybe once in a while they'll have a testimonial or two. But no, you know, it's very rare that you actually see a painter say, hey, we're a painting service, and then, you know, they go through the history and stuff, but then they actually dial down like what kind of painting they do, what kind of paint that they use, what kind of brand that they use, and then breaking it down on a semantic level with supportive synonyms, researching search of what it is what kind of products they use and why, and answering questions and all this stuff. And really, at the end of the day, they could probably come up with really good content just by recording a conversation with, let's say, a brand new client, and what kind of concerns that client has.
That's the one thing that you've been kind of harping on for a long time, is just it doesn't have to be really, it doesn't have to be so hard. You know, you can use a smartphone, use a video, and just talk about what your company does and who they are, and that's it. I mean, that's the content. You can get a transcription of that. You know, it doesn't have to be this like Shakespearean kind of novel you have to write. I think some small business owners think that the content marketing has to be so hard, but if you're an expert in your field, you just kind of write what you would write to your customers. You know, I don't think it's really that. If you the time thing factor is always a problem. You know.
Sure.
But yeah, that gets me thinking. Something I was thinking about this week, because I'm reading this information architecture book. How your company goals, like what you were just talking about, the branding and what services they offer, that's like the company goals are based around those things. But then Google has its own goals though. So that's what's kind of challenging about SEO, is we have to think about a lot about like what are the company goals, then what are Google's goals at the same time, and they don't match up.
Well, put it this way. You don't necessarily have to, I mean, you do in a sense, and I get what you're saying, but from a contextual standpoint, and you really, if you just research and just look at things from a point of, okay, I'm not necessarily writing for Google, I'm writing for my audience. What's the demand? If I'm offering to do dentures and people want to know what kind of product I'm using and why and how long they'll last and all these things. Listen, if you're a brand new dentist and maybe you just been kind of plowing along, you just got out of school, you know, you just got your license to do dentist, you're busy, you're trying to launch your business, then maybe you don't have all that information from your clients. Maybe you don't have like everything, but that's the time to reference that video I was talking about, and to start diving in and looking at where the traffic is coming from in the first place. Where, you know, getting behind psychology of your mind. You can even actually go, you know, it depends on the type of clout that you have on social media, or maybe you could find, you know, somebody that has clout and say, hey, could you ask some questions on social media? And I notice people that ask just random questions on social media usually get some good engagement, because people like to give feedback, you know?
Oh, totally. I agree with that in the context of content.
Sure.
But when you have like a whole website and it has functionality problems, it has like we were just talking about communication issues, and if it's ambiguous, the content, it's not organized, it's not structured. If you don't have those things in place, people can't find what they're looking for. And you may have like good content, but it's all like, you know, it's all over the place on your website. So I think that's where the Google goals come in. They want to have good content that people will be able to find easily. And when they click on your site, they'll be like, wow, this is awesome. I got my answer. Now I'm gone, you know, or I'll call your number or something, you know. But yeah, I totally agree. In the context of content, it's not about so much about Google's goals. I mean, except for, you know, like if you find that traffic's going in some way, like we were just talking about that Jerusalem cricket thing that we ranked for, you know, like we find out like, oh, this is trending topic, we can write about this, or we can suggest to write about it. But having just original content, I think Google eats that up, you know, especially if you know what you're talking about and you're authority in your business. So, yeah.
And that's where I think that the rank brain can calculate a bit of authority, because, you know, somebody's going to write, you know, oh, I service pools, and so what? Like, you know, you're going to write about servicing pools, like so is 10,000 other small businesses. And so what Google's really looking for probably as far as authority is, okay, where do you service pools? Number one. How, you know, do people trust you? Are there any reviews saying that you service pools for them? And what makes you different when you service pools? Do you go above and beyond and treat phosphates in the water, or do you just treat the algae when it turns green? You know, are you using preventative measures or defensive measures when you clean your pools? And things like that, and going the extra mile, like in your content, to where, you just might just nudge yourself up a little bit. Search.
Totally. Yeah. So I just been, nothing new this week. Just been kind of a busy week. You know, I lost my glasses in the river, so trying to look at the screen like, oh shoot, making sure we typed everything right.
Here's you know, here's something that, you know, I've been thinking about this past couple of months, and I don't really think that we've talked about it yet, but isn't it interesting how we've gone through the wave of like thinking that 500 words of content on the page was adequate, to just kind of riding the trends of SEO and thinking, oh my gosh, like the more the better, 2,000, 3,000 words of content is now what you need. But now kind of steering back full circle and saying, actually, it's not always 2,000 words of content. You don't always need the most content or lots of content. It's based on the niche and what people expect for that query term is what you kind of need to ride. And so can you come out in the forefront and say, hey, everybody's got 1,000 words of content, I'm going to make 1,500 and be the best guy? Maybe, but most likely not. You're probably just going to be fluffing it and throwing out air. When what we really are starting to do now, what we've been doing in the past few months, is like saying, no, it's not just always 2,000 words, which is kind of like our go-to number, right, for these past while. But now it's more like, well, I don't know. Let's look at these keywords. Let's check out what the competitors are doing. And we're estimating, we're averaging out, and obviously we're using some in-house tools, but we're averaging out what the competitors are doing for that specific keyword and averaging it out that way now, rather than saying, oh, well, I'm just going to do 2,000 stuff. So
yeah.
I think that's just, it just needed to be said and published. Like, it's not just always a lot of content. It's actually based on the specific query and specific niche.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like the content length is, the only way you can really find it is if you do like the top 10 results, and what is the content median between with all those results, and what's the average. Because say like what's the definition for, we were just talking about ambiguity. So you want 2,000 words of content for that? Like, that doesn't work, you know. You need like 40 words or less, you know. Because that, when a user's going for that, they'll just be like, I want a quick answer to a definition.
Sure.
So it probably depends on what it is. No, I mean,
you gotta realize too, and this brings me to another thought, like Wikipedia, Orthosaurus.com, you know, these big mothership sites that are ranking for just like the one phrase keyword, where, and you know, a lot of times Google's just showing a rich snippet and people are getting their answers and they don't need to actually click into the site. But those sites are ranking on sheer authority. They're not just ranking on that snippet of content. They're actually ranking because of the trust and the authority that they've built previously.
That's true. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, the psychology of the user is probably be like, I don't want a 2,000 word explanation of what ambiguity is. I'm just looking at definitions, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I think it probably like RankBrain probably measures those kind of things from like those SERP results. But I mean, like, SEO is always a moving target, right? Like, you can't really just say, okay, this is 700 words, even if you do the research.
Sure.
It could not be Google's ideal. Could be all those results suck. And
Absolutely.
It's just using the best possible result right there, you know? So
absolutely,
that's where it gets a little bit hard. But that's why you test it. You go, well, the average is 750 words. Let's see if it works. Doesn't work, maybe we'll add more content or take away, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just like that. It's, you know, it's always fluctuating. So yeah.
Another thing I noticed, and I know that we both noticed it together, was local search. Mass pages are still working. And when I say mass pages, I kind of tread that on that, like, real borderline. There's mass pages where people are just spamming the crap out of websites, and they're just, you know, spinning out churn content, and then they're basically differentiating with title and things like that. But what you and I witnessed this week is that they are, in fact, still working. And I think this depends on the niche. I think it depends on, you know, the title of the page and tagging it, you know, because we saw in search, in index, we saw traffic literally coming through analytics for different cities like Denton, Carrollton, Dallas, Fort Worth, all these different types of cities. And the pages, the pages are all pretty much similar, except for maybe some, you know, the title, the page title, maybe H1. And then a couple of other little things, tweaks in here and there, but the actual body content was very, very much similar. And showing up in search in the index, it was just like the same thing over and over again, except the very last tag was, you know, the actual geolocation of that specific page, and that's why those were ranking. But it's just interesting to see that the mass pages are still working, but I just wonder how long they'll keep working, or maybe it's just the few niches that we've noticed them ranking, and it's not every single niche, and maybe, you know, the Google search, you know, the search team is slowly starting to kind of filter those through.
Yeah,
or maybe they'll just continue to work because there's nothing better, you know. Maybe yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy.
I'll just we'll have to dig deeper in that. I'm not sure why those are ranking. It's like, yeah, we always see stuff like that in Google, like, this should not be ranking, this should not be working, why is this working, this is crap. But I don't know. I think sometimes Google, like, I keep going on and on about this, about user metrics. I think Google is just looking at the user metrics. Are people clicking on that page, and then are they is their bounce rate high, is everything right with that? Would they just ignore all the spammy crap on that site if people are actually engaging on those pages? That makes me wonder. Even though there's duplicate content with 20 pages, what if people are actually engaging in those counties and cities and are really liking that content? So are they going to drop it down?
So here's the question then: are the algorithms favoring usage metrics over contextual weight? Is contextual weight now? Because, I mean, and that's a very fair question, because if you think about you know, content, and you know, I mean, a lot of these news sites, a lot of these trending sites, these you know, update sites, and what they're really just, they're kind of grabbing, they're kind of regurgitating content, they're repurposing it, they're hardly repurposing, they're basically pulling snippets of content and saying, you know, blah blah blah, this happened, da 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 da, and they're writing maybe 100, maybe 150 words that's actually unique, that's theirs, and then they're citing the article, and they're just boom, but they're actually ranking. The thing is those sites are ranking, and most of the time I would say that they're ranking off of sheer authority, which could be happening in the local, that some of these mass page sites, they're just ranking on sheer authority, which I can see that happening. But maybe I propose the idea that usage metrics, like user experience, is actually is basically, they're prioritizing that algorithm over what they would term dupe content.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, if you have a business, a product or service that people really enjoy, however they can measure that, whether it's through the website or through reviews or whatnot, like, are they going to favor that over a really well optimized site with a crappy service? You know, that's what I kind of wonder.
Well, I do know this, that there are some tests being run in a private group that I'm in, and this lady swears that basically user metrics, like time watched, like user metrics basically are the #1 ranking factor in YouTube right now.
Oh, yeah. It totally makes sense. I mean, that's what Google's all about. That's what YouTube's all about. So
yeah.
I bet they're just ignoring all that crap, you know?
Yeah, which goes to say, like, you know, us SEOs, sometimes we overthink things and we want everything perfect. And we're like, no, you can't have duplicate content. You know, the other day just yesterday we were talking about our client, you know, if we pull in the case results, and but you know, on the relevant page, how that would make a really good user experience. But then we kind of backed out of the idea because we were thinking, oh, well, but then we might have dupe content issues. Oh crap, well, I guess we can't do that. But shoot, maybe at the end of the day, if we're prioritizing user experience, maybe it doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah. You know, it's still risky. I mean, I'm pretty cautious with that site, because I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do any duplicate content. I think Google still takes it as a factor, but if it's already bad and people are engaging with the bad part of it, like the bad content, then I don't think it takes that into account as much. But whether to make a decision to actually make crappy duplicate content, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Sure.
Because it's risky. But if the risk is already done, like we inherited a crappy website, so
yeah,
nothing we could have done about it. But now we have to do something about it.
Well, let me share my screen with. Let me share my screen with you. And can you see my screen here?
Yeah, yeah.
So let me just look at this stuff here. So pool service near me. Obviously, it's
oh, 1 second. What is this tool that you have here? That's measuring CPC. This
is keyword Cabe.
Keyword what?
It's actually keyword Cabe.
Keyword Cabe. Okay.
Yep. Keyword Cabe. It's a great little plugin. Awesome. It's actually a free plugin you can plug into Chrome.
All right. And, yeah, I've been looking for.
Actually, sorry. It's not keyword Cabe. It's keywords everywhere. I apologize.
Keywords everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Keywords Everywhere. Yeah, it's a Chrome extension. I highly recommend it just because it's free. I actually find that it comes in very handy for really quick research, and yeah, but it's actually great. But let me, dude. Okay, so pool service near me, right?
Okay.
Let's just look at this here. So obviously, like somebody's, a lot of people are probably, most of these searches are coming from an actual phone, right? But if you come down here, look at, actually, no, it was repair. And I'm not sure why they're differentiating repair with service on this particular query. But pool repair near me, and look at Thumbtack. They've got a double listing. Now, mind you, this is a very, very easy niche. Wouldn't take much at all to rank for this specific query in the city of Reading, which is only 100,000. But look at Thumbtack. Look at so number one, I want you to observe like what Google is bolding here. Pool repair near me, right? It's pulling up these reviews, but there's really no reviews that the knowledge graph is pulling in here. But if you come down here, you can see right here the bold, and that's why. So Thumbtack is have a double listing. But look at their actual title. Like if I click on this, look how much they're optimizing for the near me on this specific page. Number one, they have it in their URL. So Thumbtack is really like going aggressive, in my opinion, over optimized on this keyword. They have it in the URL. Look at this. They have it in their title, the 5 best swimming pool repair services near me. And then they have an auto pop, like a geo-discovery script that's pulling in, like basically you can, it's basically reading the geographical location I'm searching from. But now, if I do a search here and I go near me, you've got it in 2 different places in the body content. So now they're doing.
Does it have anything with Reading? Oh yeah, it does have Reading content in there.
Yeah, it does. Let's see. So this is actually a breadcrumb. Let me see here. This is near me here. Yeah. Okay, I just want to check something real quick. So near, actually, just the term near is 5 times you have near. So, but look at these supportive keywords. Repairers near you. See that?
Yeah.
Can hire nearby pros. So nearby, near you, near me. Let's see if they have anything other than they've got way down here in the footer. They've got something, and then up here in the this must be an H1. No, it's a title 2. What is that, Matt?
H1.
Okay, that's the H1.
Wait, oh, the
TP title 2. What does that mean?
That's just the span. That's. Oh yeah, it is an H1. It's embedded in H1 right there. above
Oh
it.
yeah, right here. Okay, got it. Okay, so but I just found like in my opinion, I would say that is heavily over optimized, but it just appears like in local search they're they're making it work. Look
So
at
you think actually having the word near me? Yeah, I would think that RankBrain would just translate the near me into Reading, like it wouldn't make a difference. Because near
exactly.
me could be anywhere.
Well, I think that they are translating that it's Reading, but because they're still they're because on page has so much weight right now, they're actually pulling these pages up too.
Mm.
But here's another thing that actually I just noticed, Matt. I don't know if you noticed this, but when I clicked on this page and I clicked back out, did you see what Google just did?
Oh, people also search for. Okay.
So instead of way down here, look at what they did. They actually pulled it in. As soon as I clicked back out, they did this. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. Yeah, because I bounced. I've never seen that before.
Wow, that's actually a smart idea on Google's part. And that kind of, if you're ranking 2, that kind of sucks for you.
Yeah, it does, because now, well, especially if you're ranking 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
I bet that lowers it a bit, even though probably the number 2 result's more visual, more attractive, but still.
Well, I'm under an assumption that they're probably split testing this, but that was crazy. Let me see if I can get that to do that again. Let me see. Okay, so home sales near me. Let me just refresh this. Homes for sale near me. And now we have some powerhouse sites in here, so nobody's really okay. So Movoto is actually doing a near me optimization here, but you've got Realtor optimizing. Oh, actually, Realtor is actually optimizing for it too. Look at near you. Look at that. Near. Okay. So they're pulling in near, and then Zillow is actually using the word near. So that's interesting. So that's another way that you could optimize for near me searches, is actually put in your content near you.
It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like you even have the word near.
Right.
So both you have to have, well, you don't have to have near, but it's probably a good idea to have near, some variation near me or near you. And then, but also the city name within the content and schema that
so you can
clarify.
You can actually
this is located in Reading or wherever you're located. You know.
Sure, and you can see here. You know, this is not showing in their meta, but I guarantee you'll probably say Reading on that page maybe. Zillow, this is an extension here. They're optimizing here in their URL, optimizing their title, and then here's your meta. Well, most likely it's their meta. It could actually be something else that they're pulling in. But you got your homes for sale, and then right here it says near Reading.
Yeah.
But let me see if I can get that people also searched for to trigger. Let me just go to Realtor here, and then I'll just, oh, look at that. Look at that. It auto-populated that. That's amazing. Some of these programmers are so slick, I tell you what.
Yeah.
So slick. Let me see if I've got Reading in this page here. No Reading in this page, but it does have Palo Alto. Interesting. So this page is actually optimized for Palo Alto. But let me back out and see if Google will do that again to me. Oh, look at it, just did it. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Dude.
Wait, can you scroll down and match that? Compare it to
it's not, oh, okay, sure, yeah. Let me do this real quick. Let me do this. Let me do this, this, so we have it. Okay.
You just have a PC, bro. Mac, bro.
So totally different. Look at that. So this is related searches, and then this is people also search for. Very interesting, right?
Yeah.
That is very, very interesting.
For Yahoo real estate.
That is interesting. Huh.
Yeah, I've seen that in the knowledge graph, but not like within that space.
I'm gonna do this. Hold on. Real estate list. Let me try this one because it's more generic rather than. See, this is interesting. It's almost like that's some serious favor right there. For realtor.com to get that, remax.com to get that. Like that's some serious favor. Yahoo real estate. That's some really good trusting. That's like absolute trust for them to actually pull that in. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just people also searched for. So let me just go to real estate listings and see what we get at the bottom of this. I'm just curious to compare now with what we had. Real estate, ready real estate, Trulia, ready homes for rent. This is interesting. I don't know, man. That's some tricky stuff they're doing. That's the first time I've seen that.
Yeah, me too.
Wow. What a trip. SEO is always changing.
They're revealing some traffic analysis right there too. People also search for those terms. So, man.
They are. They're reviewing.
Keyword research just keeps getting more complicated.
Well, it's no longer, may I propose it's no longer keyword research. It's what people are looking for research. It's what your audience is looking for research.
User research for Facebook.
It's user, right? Yeah, there it is.
Demographic.
Boom. User research. It's user research. We got to coin that. Matt, you should coin it before I do. I'm going to go register the.
You can have it, Josh.
I'm going to trademark it right now, dude. I'm going right now. Trademark it. Trademark it. UPTO.
Yeah.
User research.
All right, man. Let's get some lunch.
Yeah, let's get some lunch. I think that was good. That was nice, short and sweet. And if you've watched this, I hope it helped you and gave you a couple of nuggets. And we'll hopefully see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.